In this alcohol marker rose drawing tutorial, I'm going to take you from this to this, so stay tuned. What you're going to need for this art drawing tutorial is a pencil, a canvas. I've used here a page of a canvas pad, or you can use a board or a stretched canvas or anything like that, and some alcohol markers. Right, so here you can see I'm penciling in my rose. And yeah, it's I always used to think roses were like the most difficult flower to draw, but they really aren't. They have a simple a simple technique, and just like any other flower really. So yeah, just start with a simple side view is probably the best. An aerial view would be much more difficult with all the petals, but here we have the side view of a rose, nice and simple, keeping it simple. And there you can see I'm already started with my alcohol marker using a light green and going over the ridges of the leaf with a darker green there. And if you're new to alcohol markers, the amazing thing about using it on canvas is the way it spreads. It's so amazing. So you can see there, all the ink gives way and starts spreading and doing its own thing. It's like a kind of magic reveal what's going to happen. And this as far as I know, only works on canvas, and that's why I love doing these alcohol markers on canvas. The way the ink disperses, it's just truly magical. I find it's like it just does its own thing, and it's just you never know what you're going to get. So it's surprise drawing. And yeah, so here you can see I'm doing like a lot of darker outlines there. Normally I start with the dark, but this time I started with the lighter green and working my way towards the darker. So you can see some hues and shades and tones there. That's starting to bring the leaves to life and the stem to life. And soon enough I'm going to start doing the rose. Obviously I picked a red rose. Everybody loves a red rose. Or do they? Let me know in the comments, what's your favorite color rose? Okay, so there you can see I'm starting on the red. And if you want to see more of these alcohol markers on canvas tutorials, I've got loads of them. I've got a poppy one, and in fact I'm going to be bringing out another poppy one soon. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on these tutorials. I've also got a lot of landscape alcohol marker on canvas tutorials. And yeah, here you can see I've already done the red, and now I'm outlining it with the darker red. It's starting to take shape. And one thing I wanted to say about these alcohol markers that I've noticed is if you want to varnish over them, I would strongly recommend you don't. It changes the color of the alcohol marker. It sometimes just makes it lighter. Sometimes it has no effect whatsoever. It depends on the color. Must also obviously depend on the kind of pigment. I don't know. But I don't know if you've had this problem before. Let me know in the comments as well. But what I recommend if you do want to varnish is to go over with watered down acrylic. So if you want to go over the red, just take some red acrylic, water it down a bit and go over it. Go over the part that's red, and then take a little bit green obviously and go over the stems and the leaves in acrylic, and that seems to work. That seems to look, it'll make the painting or your picture a little bit darker. But if you want to varnish over that, then it seems to be all right. Then it's like the acrylic guards the alcohol marker underneath. So that's a little tip that I've noticed with these alcohol markers. I always go over them. You'll even see in the landscape tutorials that I go over the markers with a bit of watered down acrylic. Sometimes I even go over them with a little bit of oil pastel. You can go over, I do this a lot. I don't paint with oils. I paint in acrylic. But if you want to take like an oil pastel and some turpentine and a little brush, you can, dip your brush in the turpentine into the color you want of the oil pastel, and that can go over an acrylic like an overlay, and that also tends to protect the alcohol marker underneath. If you want to go that route, that also works. And it also, if you didn't know about that, using oil pastels with acrylic paint, it's a great tip to go over your work with highlights and things, or maybe you just couldn't get the right color and you've got the oil pastel color. You can do that, and then you can also varnish over that. So that's a little tip there. Back to this tutorial, look, you can see I'm doing some lighter highlights, and there the ink is dispersing nicely, going in with some darker tones to bring it out, a 3D effect. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you're going to try this out. I'd love to hear from you. The other thing I love about these alcohol markers is, even if you make a boo-boo, you can kind of go over it, which you couldn't do with other sort of colored pens in the past. And it kind of bumps things out the way. So if you do make a mistake, you can kind of rectify it. It depends on what kind of mistake you've made, but I do find that these are really versatile to work with. And yeah, I really love working with alcohol markers. They're just so cool. Anyways, it's almost finished now. You can see I'm going in with some more layers of the darker colors just to bring out the leaf shapes and the veins and so on and so forth. And yeah, there you have it. A rose is a rose is a rose. And would you believe that the rose is one of the oldest flowers that have been found? I don't know if I can believe this, but rose fossils have been found dating back 35 million years. Yes, folks, 35 million years ago, making them one of the oldest known flowers. There's your rose fact for the day. What do you think of that? Anyway, that concludes this rose drawing art tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't, please do subscribe to my channel. I give loads of these kind of art tutorials. Thanks for watching. And if you want to check out my art, you can follow the link in the pinned comment. I will also pin those other alcohol marker tutorials so that you can check those out too. Have a wonderful day. Bye.